With the release of Lost Caverns of Ixalan, we got a lot of cool new dinosaurs, such as Pugnacious Hammerskull and Bonehorn Dracosaur, which will be our 4 rares for today's deck. First, we're running 3 copies of Pugnacious Hammerskull, which is 2 in a green for a 6/6 dinosaur that says, whenever it attacks while you don't control another dinosaur, put a stun counter on it. That stun counter is very easy to play around, so really, this is just a 3-mana 6/6 that has added synergy with the rest of our deck. Next, we're running a single copy of Bonehorn Dracosaur, which will be 3 and 2 red for a 5/5 dinosaur dragon with flying and first strike that says, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exiled a land card this way, create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. If you exiled a non-land card this way, create a treasure token. This card offers card draw, mana, and additional bodies. It has incredible value for the mid to late game. I had a 63% win rate with this deck across 30 matches, and if you're interested in the full deck list, it'll be linked down below in the description. With that said, let's see the deck in action. Alright, and here we are going into our first match against Dizigeth the Tepid. We are going to mulligan our first hand away, going down to 6, so we're starting off at a little bit of a disadvantage, but that's alright. We should be a-okay. We don't have any red sources of mana in our hand yet, so it's a little concerning. But we top deck a Lore Keeper, and that can produce red, so we should be fine, except that our opponent has the card Rat out, a removal spell that I have literally never heard of or seen before. So that's a bummer, because now we don't have any red mana. And our opponent's going to play an Izumi Informant here. We're going to ditch the Scytheclaw Raptor, because again, we didn't have red. Naturally, we top deck a Mountain after the fact, though. And our opponent reveals that they are indeed Rat Tribal, so it's rats versus dinos in this match, because they drop a Karumonix, giving all of their rats toxic. So that means we're on a bit of a clock now, a much faster clock than we would have otherwise been. So we drop our Pugnacious Hammerskull. Big body, good blocker. They're going pretty wide, so, you know, still not feeling great. But they decide not to swing, so that's cool. That buys us some more time. We're only up to 2 poison counters. And we have a second Hammerskull that we can drop. Opponent uses Rat out again. They choose not to block and trade with our Hammerskull, though. It would have cost them most of their board, so I understand. They're just trying to go even wider. I drop Lord Skitter. It's a good rat, very good one. Also a newer rat. Now, opponent has a wide board and we have 2 6/6s. Still not looking great, but we can at least kill the Karumonix and not have to worry about Toxic anymore. And by using Nature's Way, we also give one of our Hammerskulls Vigilance and Trample. So we're able to connect for big damage, setting our opponent to 3. I'm now feeling good, though. But our opponent has a Twisted Sewer Witch, and yeah, now their board is looking quite frightening. Like really, really frightening. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Doesn't look good here. We block 1 rat. Yeah, because it's all we can do. We go down to 10. We top deck a Belligerent Yearling. That's not gonna do it. We play our Garruk's Uprising, which gives both of our Hammerskulls Trample, which is huge. But this Blizzard Brawl here, that top deck, won us the game. Our opponent had 10 toughness that they could use to block with and 3 life. We were swinging 12 damage. They would have been down to 1, and then we would have lost. That Blizzard Brawl won us the match. Alright, heading into our next match, we're playing against Maistrek, or Mistrek. I'm not sure how they like to say their name. Either way, we're going to mulligan down to 6 again, and we are on the draw again. So, starting off at a double disadvantage, but no big deal. I have faith in the deck. So, we get Torn 1 Lore Keeper. We get down to Scytheclaw Raptor, which is a very cool dinosaur if you guys have never used it before. It says whenever a player casts a spell, if they cast it, wasn't their turn, that player takes 4 damage. And we only have 1 instant card in our deck, so it's very cool and rarely hurts us. Our opponent plays the card Repercussion. I've never seen anyone use this card before, but it says whenever creatures dealt damage, Repercussion deals that much damage to that creature's controller. It effectively turns any removal spells you have into burn, as far as red is concerned. And that seems pretty strong. They get down to second one, but I'm still feeling alright. Our opponent's down to 7, so I'm not super worried. However, our opponent casts Twinferno and then Static Discharge. Now watch my life total. I am at 20 life. I have 4 creatures. They're going to get 2 Repercussion triggers here. And then another 2 Repercussion triggers. And now I'm suddenly down to 8 life. I started this turn at 20. Our opponent is at 7. We have 5 damage that we can swing here. This is going to be a close one. Our opponent is down to 2. They use Lithomanthic Barrage, card Lithomantic. Barrage, card I've never heard of before. Get us down to 6. They play with Fire Us, getting us down to 2. Do they have the final burn? And they do not. So we managed to rush them down with our dinos before getting burned out. Next up, we've got Moonburn. We finally get to keep an opening hand, so that's pretty dope. Get to have a good start. Well, our opponent has an even better start with a turn 1 Ruin Crab. Really can't ask for anything better than that if you're playing a mill deck. Well, we have turn 1 Game Trail into a Lore Keeper. So we're not doing too bad ourselves. And hey, if you guys are still watching, please let me know what you think of the video so far. The intro, the new formatting for the matches. This is all something new that I'm trying out, so I'm hoping it's going well. And if people like it, I will continue to make more videos in this format. Now, we play a Drover of the Mighty. We don't have a land drop for next turn, which is a little concerning, which is why I decided to play another Mana Dork rather than play out like the Pugnacious Hammerskull. Our opponents, they're milling us out. They're doing their thing. They play an Ashiok. That's a little bit concerning. We're going to mill another 4 cards, and they're going to exile our graveyard. That doesn't really matter. We don't have any graveyard interaction in our deck, so it's not going to affect us too badly. We do manage to top deck a land, which is huge, and we have 40 cards left in our library. So we're doing okay. Not too concerning yet. So now we're just going to develop our board as much as we possibly can. We're going to get down a Belligerent Yearling as well as Pugnacious Hammerskull because both of them can connect for very big damage. We do have that Blizzard Brawl in hand, and that'll come in very handy for getting rid of this pesky crab. And I'm thinking that we'll probably go ahead and take out the Ashiok as well. Just because we're getting pretty low now. We're down to 23 cards in our library. And the additional 4 from Ashiok, or potentially 8 if we leave it up for, another turn or 2. Could be the difference that our opponent needs to win. So, like I said, we're going to Blizzard Brawl here. We're going to take out that Ruin Crab. And this is going to allow us to connect for a big damage. They have no blocker. We can get rid of Ashiok. And at the same time, we're going to develop a Colossal Dactyl, which will buff our Belligerent Yearling. Just, allowing us to get in for 1 more point of damage. Not that it matters, so we're sending it to Ashiok to kill it. But, normally it's extra damage. But Hammerskull is going to make a big swing, connecting for 6, setting our opponent to 14. And right now on the board, we've got 17 damage. So they need to do something. They need to win the game here or set up a blocker. So right now, we've got them. They play out a Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. I hit them with that early good game. And that's it, baby. That's the game. Dinos beating out Mill. Wasn't even worried. All right, heading into game number 4, we are facing Josh. Yep, just Josh. Very simple name. And we are on the play, but we had a mulligan down to 6, so not great. We have no plays until turn 3. However, our first play is going to be Scytheclaw Raptor, which is pretty solid. Yeah, it's just a strong card. Our opponent plays Silver Raven here. I hit him with a nice because I really like that card. It's a little 1 mana, 1/1 artifact bird with flying, and on ETB it gives you a scry. Really cool card. I like it a lot. Is it the greatest card ever? No. But I like it. I'm also a big fan of Inspiring Overseer. If you ever see me play a white deck, very good chance Inspiring Overseer is in the deck. But anyway, we're going to drop a Raging Regisaur right here. And Raging Regisaur looks great against their board. If you don't know, when this dinosaur attacks, it gets to deal 1 damage to any creature. So it was going to be super sick. However, our opponent reveals that they are indeed flying tribal. They drop an Empyrean Eagle, buffing their board. Flyers would normally be a concern. However, we have the double Blizzard Brawl in hand right now. So we attempt to use that, but they have a slip out the back in return. However, by using that, they take 4 damage from Scytheclaw Raptor's ability. And because it is phased out, Raging Regisaur is able to ping down the Inspiring Overseer. And now I'm feeling real good. We still have another Blizzard Brawl in hand. So I'm feeling very confident here. They pass without attacking. We're going to drop another Raptor because there's not much else for us to do. And now we're going to attempt to Blizzard Brawl once again. I'm going to target the Regisaur to the Empyrean Eagle. I got to make sure it's big enough. Although all of them would have been fine. Anyway, we're going to swing again. No good creatures to ping, so we're just going to ping their face. And our opponent has had enough. They're going to declare no blocks. That'll be a nice clean dub against Azorius Flyers. Alright, here we are going against Kip's World in our next match. Keep our opening hand and we're on the play. So we have a very strong start. And our opening hand is looking fire. If you can get down double Belligerent Yearling, followed by your Pugnacious Hammerskull, that is so much damage that you're swinging with Trample. It would be 12 Trample damage. So, I go for that play. I'm going to start off with a Belligerent Yearling, and then next turn I will drop another, followed by a Lore Keeper. However, our opponent decides to rain on our parade, and they go for the throat, killing our first Belligerent Yearling. It is what it is. No big deal. We have a second one, so we're fine. We got a backup Yearling. We'll be okay. If I can get down the Hammerskull with the Yearling next turn, we should be able to swing for some decent damage. Right now, our opponent uses a Cabaret Courtyard to go find a Plains, and they drop a Mosswood Dread Knight. That card is very good and kind of annoying. So, I'm going to drop a Pugnacious Hammerskull here. That is going to buff our Yearling's power up to 6, and I'm going to offer the trade here. A little bit of a questionable decision, but I wanted to connect for the damage that I could, and yeah, I'm okay with having done this. No big deal. And it turns out it was the right play, because it allowed us to get in for the damage that I could before our opponent hit us with a Shatter the Sky, wiping our board. So I'm going to do the only thing I can do, and let's drop a Drover of the Mighty. Now, things are not looking great. We have no gas in our hand, and no board. So, not feeling great. Our opponent plays a Goshen Tide of Life's Origin, revealing that they are indeed a Shrines deck, which is kind of surprising. They've gone a lot of turns without playing a Shrine. Like it's a very slow start as far as Shrines are concerned. But they're going to tutor up a Sanctum of All into their hand, and so now I am very worried. We top deck a Scytheclaw Raptor. Solid pickup. This will allow us to use our Nature's Way to kill their Goshen Tide of Life's Origin, so that's dope. It's very good for us. We're still not in a great spot, though. We can connect for 3 damage here with Drover of the Mighty. Hell yeah, it's getting that +2/+2 buff from us having a dinosaur on the board. Now, this turn is huge for us. Our opponent decides to play the Kami War instead of their Sanctum of All, which means that we can Tamiyo Safekeeping in response. We are going to take damage from the Raptor, gain back 2 of that life. But they have effectively wasted their turn, which is great for us. And we top deck It's Squint, Firstborn of Geshath, with a great ability that allows us to pay 2 to have one of our dinosaurs deal damage equals to its power to another target, like our opponent's only blocker. And he's a little hasty boy, so we connect for 9 damage here, setting our opponent to 3. And now the opponent's gonna use Kami War to bounce Cyclaw Raptor back to our hand, but then they're gonna scoop it up. They just couldn't handle the dinos. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what we're here to see. Alright, here we are going into the final match of the video against Crash Albert 1987. You're going to see me check his deck size here, and he is running 90 cards for no good reason. It seems to be a very prevalent issue on Arena. A lot of people run more than 60 cards, and honestly, it is a pet peeve of mine. You don't need to run more than 60 cards. If it was better for decks to run more cards, they would. Anyway, if you didn't notice, we mulligan down to 5, so we're starting pretty far behind, but we have a turn 2 Belligerent Yearling into a turn 3 Pugnacious Hammerskull, which is pretty good for us. Our opponent is playing mono white life gain, so we're going to be able to be pretty aggressive here, thanks to our start, which was dope. However, our opponents, they hit us with a borrowed time, and you can see I am not very happy about it. We find another Pugnacious Hammerskull, though, in response to their borrowed time. So, that's cool. Could help us, stay in this game. We really would need to find another land. And our opponent's going to drop the One Ring. We find our third Hammerskull, which is very surprising and unexpected. And I'm going to swing. It's not because I forgot they just played the One Ring. It is just in case they make a mistake and decide to block with their Lunarch Veteran. But I hate the One Ring. This card is so annoying, even with the nerf that it got on Arena, where you have to pay 1 mana to use the ability of the ring. It's still very annoying, and it's turned archetypes like Mono White Life Gain into even larger pains in the ass than they were before. But it is what it is. We swing our Hammerskull at our opponents. They take it, they go down to 11, and they take 1 from the ring, going down to 10. So, I'm feeling okay. We've been stuck on 3 lands for 2 turns. That's a bummer. And they top deck a Voice of the Blessed, or maybe they didn't top deck it, but they play a Voice of the Blessed. And that is a very big cause for concern. That card is super strong, super busted, and it's honestly the bane of my existence. So we find a 4th land. That's good. That allows us to play Raging Regisaur and also buff our Yearling a little bit. All we can do here is try to apply as much pressure as we can. So I'm going to swing out with both. They can't trade for my Yearling. They decide not to. They decide to eat 10 damage. Going down to 3, taking 2 from the ring, going down to 1. Very, very ballsy, Crash Albert. But part of the reason why Mono White life gain is so strong is because you really can just gain a ton of life very, very quickly. So we start at 1. Let's see what Albert ends up at. Already back up to 3. He's making a massive Voice of the Bless. Drops a Leonin War Leader. You don't see it as often in Mono White life gain decks, but I respect people who play it. Leonin War Leader, it's a cool card. Alright, so Crash Albert's going to throw a 9/9 Voice of the Blessed at us. Very, very scary. We managed to top deck another land, huge, which allows us to play our Bonehor Dracosaur. There's only one thing left for us to do, it is to swing out. Raging Regisaur will get a trigger, killing his Healer's Hawk, but there's really not much else that we can do here. All we can do is throw as many things at his face as we can, and I don't know, hope we get lucky, I guess. Now, Albert here, he's trying real hard to figure out the most optimal blocks. And I don't know what exactly is going through his head, but he throws. He throws a match right here. And we win, overkilling by 3. And that's it. That's been Dinos. So I hope you guys enjoyed the deck and the video. If you guys did, please let me know with some feedback down in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. And with that, I hope you guys have a nice day.